Wait. Cesar, you're going to lead this, right?
If you want to.
Let's
Yes.
go start off here. So
You're the
this
main
is
developer.
a Wolfram language design review about a topic we have talked about several times before, which is the representation of historical countries, kind of an encapsulation of human history in computational terms. All right. So what we have here, we've talked about this several times before, and hopefully we are towards the end of figuring out how this is supposed to work. So we have geovariance. So the union area. Go ahead.
Yes, these are the three geovariants that we ended up with. We have union area, which is a polygon representing all the territories of a given historical country, the union of all the polygons.
So wait a minute, that's union over all time.
Yes. Previously, we had a collection of all the polygons, but now using the GeoServer, we can make the operation to return a single polygon.
Okay, so for example, if I say here something like British Empire, let's see if the sun really never set over it. What the heck is this? This has been happening to me. Is that, oh, that looks like it's part of the predictive interface. That may be some other thing. Somebody needs to reset that.
That won't work.
That's a failure. How come?
That's entity class of countries.
Well, should work. As opposed to, so I mean, this, I don't see why this doesn't work. We should make this work. I don't see why it wouldn't work.
We have been thinking on a way to hook up country and historical countries.
I think that if you have a geovariant that says union area, it better work for country classes of current countries. See what I'm saying? That's a simple thing. Should be easy to make it work.
Okay.
Now, why is this jammed here? Or is it taking forever to, let's see. Well, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, the thing with that British Empire.
Yes.
No, don't matter.
Well, now it's saying downloading 14 of 28 values. So what's happening? Is it not cached? Obviously, you should make sure that these things are cached.
Yeah, I will check on that.
Okay, but so I don't know what we should do here, but okay. So I understand the concept of union area. So what other?
We can with the wrapper dated, we can restrict the time period in which we will do the union. So it doesn't work on, it doesn't unite all the polygons in all time, but once in a certain interval of years.
What's this? Well, okay, it says bugginess here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So time series here, I don't understand what that's returning. I mean, in other words, down here, you're returning a time series of polygons. But here, what was happening here? How do we manage to display? Oh, I see. It's that time series indexed into that year. What if I miss the years that for which we, if I say 202
It
BC,
should
for example,
return a missing value.
but is that the right thing? I mean, do we have to hit it on the nose?
This is an issue we discussed of using
Interpolation.
Yes.
So I think that what we should do probably is, I'm thinking, I mean, one possibility is to return the nearest date and generate a message. I think returning missing is not useful. Now, if the date that you specify is outside the range when that historical country even existed, then yes, return a missing. But if it's just a data lack for us, that we didn't have 201 BC.
No. I didn't get you that. It uses if it's on a.
This is such crap. Look at this. What the hell's going on here?
Yes, I think I know what the
Okay,
problem
well,
is.
just make sure it works, because it
Yes.
doesn't right now. And make sure, and whatever, it shouldn't take that long, and it shouldn't, oh gosh, you shouldn't give me this in. Where did we put this historical data? Is that where it is?
Yes.
Okay, you know what? It's always good to put the date in. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. So
right now, the way the time series work, if you ask for a year before the starting of the time series, it will give you the first polygon. But if you ask for a year after the finish of the after the ending of the time series, it will return missing right now.
I don't think that's right. I think it should return missing if it's before the beginning. I mean, you know, if I say here 800 BC, and by the way, that minus for displaying the year.
So
there are
actually,
so many bugs here. Come on, guys, you got to do better. That's no good. Giving an absolute time thing like this. That you shouldn't generate that message. Am I making sense? You can generate a message.
Okay, yeah, we can report that to the time series, because that's the time series.
This is a message generated in the time series, because what you're trying to do is to extrapolate, and that's why you get the information that you're trying to.
Yeah, I know, but also
beyond.
the input value is really bad here. You should know you should give that in the correct format.
That could be improved upon, yes, and also
you know the format. Use the format.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, but you were just being. I was just being told that if I ask for something outside of the range, that I'm going to get missing. Oh, here you're doing extrapolation. If it's before you're doing extrapolation, and if I say something like 2300 AD, when the Roman Empire presumably did not exist, for some reason it's giving missing not available in that case, but not in this case. So I think it should give missing not available in both cases. Am I making sense? I don't understand the argument for doing it the other way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So if there is an argument, give it. If there isn't, fix it.
Okay.
Is there an argument?
No.
Okay, then fix it. Okay, so here, you should not be generating a message from interpolating function. You should be saying something that is more about, you know, historical countries and so on here. Am I making sense? Because you must have a harness on this anyway that's dealing with, I mean, hopefully this isn't just a raw time series here, or is it? If I look at
It is
TS,
a time series.
It is. So it's a regular time series which content is polygons.
by the way, these negative numbers for dates, I really don't think we should be doing that. Whether we use BC or BCE, I don't know. But I don't think we should write negative numbers like that. I just think it looks kind of silly. Comments on that, please?
The problem with the negative is that also might be confused with a dash.
Well, I understand, but it just looks silly. So
No,
why are we doing that?
That's why it's problematic, I think, in the full date.
Yeah, but I'm asking.
We can do it for these calendars, right? There are other calendars with negative numbers, and there is not a convention.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. But yes, for
But also this January 1st thing looks like nonsense to me. Why isn't that granularity of years?
that's what hasn't been inserted, I guess, in the time series.
Well, we should fix that.
Mhm.
We need to fix that.
Yep.
Okay. So this here, the fact that you're using a time series and getting raw information from it, I mean, if that's the implementation thing for right now, I guess we have to live with it for right now, of getting an interpolating function message. I don't like it. I don't think that's what time series should do. In fact, Gosha, that's just wrong. You should not generate a message for interpolating function when somebody is seeing a time series. You see what I'm saying? That message should be associated with time series. Am I making sense? Do I have to repeat?
What do you mean associated with the time series?
I don't want to see the word interpolating function here. The fact that time series is implemented using interpolating function is a detail for us.
Ah,
You
gotcha.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
That shouldn't have been done that way. It's sloppy.
Okay.
Right? That should be something about time series saying time requested lies outside the range in the time series.
Mhm.
Extrapolation will be used or whatever else it is, but that should be associated with time series. It's really sloppy to have let it fall through to the implementation error message. So, okay, you'll fix that.
Yes.
Okay. So now here, so I think when that's fixed, that's less problematic in terms of the mechanism here. Am I making sense? Do you understand? I don't think we need to worry. I think that message will be enough for dealing with geovariant, with the historical country geovariant thing. Did you understand, Francisco? Anybody else? Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. For God's sake, please respond, because otherwise I just don't have any idea whether you understand what I'm talking about or not. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Okay, so this pattern of saying time series follows the pattern of things like word frequency data, yes?
Yes, we follow with that. Yeah. So this is with the same idea we created this variant. Yeah.
So if I just said dated without giving the geovariant wrapper, that would presumably work as well, right? In other words, if I say here, what the heck is this? Okay.
So if you call entity value of the dated and polygon, yes, you get the same time series.
No, I'm asking a different question. If I say geolist plot of dated Roman Empire, Oh gosh, why didn't that work? Make that
Uh,
work.
that's outside of bounds because you would be needing the Roman Republic.
Oh,
You can try on the year 200.
oh yeah. Okay, fine. My apologies. Bad history. Now, although I'm surprised I didn't get a message. Brilliant. Why didn't I get a message when it was outside of the bounds? Because I was getting a message here when it's outside bounds. Why didn't I get a message here? I think I should get a message there.
Yes, the message comes from the time series itself, from the object. But we could give a message for the entity.
I
So
think
we
you
can-
need to, yeah. I
No,
think
but
you need to
usually we don't give messages for entity values that return missing by itself, right?
I think this is a very obscure case. I think you should give a message in this case. I think people will just be completely confused without
So-
this. Am I making sense?
Somehow, right, so it's a kind of edge case because GeoList plot usually ignore missings, so that's why it doesn't give any message.
I understand. GeoList plot doesn't give a message, but I wonder if the dated should give a message. I mean, I know dated is normally inert. So at what point does it know there's a problem?
So the question is, right, and so because GeoList plot each tries an entity value of dated and gets a missing from the polygon and then ignores the missing.
Okay, so that entity value call should probably generate a message.
I'm not sure if we do that ever.
Well, maybe we should start. I think this case is really obscure to people. People are just going to think it's broken. See what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
at
no,
the very
I
least,
agree,
the
but-
missing should not just say not available. The missing should say something a little bit more clear about what happened.
I agree. So we need to think where to intercept this to
Okay,
actually
fine.
give some information. Yeah, but it's not that straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. That's lovely. That's super cool. Now, okay, you say dateless step plot. If I said dateless plot and I said something like interpolation order 2, for example. Surprised that didn't give an autocomplete of different possible values. Now what's that? What's that?
Complaining
Oh.
about the missing values.
Yeah, but it's got to give a more elegant thing than this garbage. Look, it either doesn't complain about missings or it does. Is it complaining about missings? Does dateless plot complain about missings? Plots usually don't.
Right. It looks like it's complaining about the missings because you can see that this with missings value. Yeah.
Okay, so why don't
Usually
you
it
go
doesn't-
investigate that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. The result was very nice, but I don't know what happened there. Okay. Geovariant maximum area. Okay.
Yeah, that one, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only
I
thing
think
is
that's
that
fine. Yeah.
when given the dated wrapper, it returns the maximum expansion in the restricted
lovely.
to the
Yeah, that's
interval.
lovely. Yep. Okay, geo-identify.
Yes, and there is a bunch of stuff that we discussed here, when there is an historical domain and an historical entity, it will try to match them in both time and space.
Yes.
Using the dated wrapper around the domain, will return dated wrappers with the dates of intersection. Using an historical domain against a non-historical.
Hold on. Let me just ingest what's happening here. So if there's an explicit dated, then it returns. So if I said, so this is a space-time point. Is there any way that the second argument of GeoIdentify can be a space-time region?
Yes.
So for example, let's say that I say, okay, let's say I say this, and then I say dated. Well, actually, I just say Roman Republic. So this should generate a giant list.
Yes, this might time out.
Okay, well, give me a smaller place. I mean, give me a smaller one. I mean, again, I would love to see a progress monitor here. Well, okay, but let me give, oh gosh, timed out. Okay, could you give me a place with a smaller,
you could also restrict dated
no,
dated.
well, okay, fine. Okay, so let's say Roman Republic, and let's say dated Roman Republic minus 250 to minus 200. Why the hell have we got these stupid things here? But I thought we got rid of this. That calendar icon. Do you understand what I'm saying?
We got rid of that in date object, but apparently not in date interval yet.
Okay, so let's get rid of it.
Yep.
Yes, in that case, it will.
That's a very nice result.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. In that case, ...
It will match also in space and time.
Okay. Two comments
These are
here.
Roman provinces.
Two comments. The dated should canonicalize to just be the simple form, not to have a date interval there. I'm making sense. Doesn't seem any harm is done by that, and it's easier to read. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, sorry.
By simpler form, you mean the pair of years?
Yes, that is correct.
Right. So what happens if we have dates that are more finer granularity?
Well, give those then dated. Give those dates. Dated allows that. I'm just saying, don't use date interval. Use the list pair.
Okay.
Here.
If they are years, we use pair. Yep.
Well, what about if they're? I mean, if they're January 13th of 1922, why don't we just say January 13th of 1922 in the list pair?
With lists of numbers, or
No.
with a pair of dates?
With a pair of date objects.
Fine. Yeah.
Right. Dated surely allows date objects in it.
Yes. At least one. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
A pair,
so
I don't know.
Well,
but it can
let's
be.
make sure it does.
Yep.
Okay, and I recommend that as the canonical form, so that we can just use naked integers for pure years.
Yep.
Okay, this is really a nice result here. That's very impressive. Okay, so now GeoIdentify historical country, the city of Rome. That's cool. I got to figure out what it says. for autocomplete is not there, by the way. Probably will get automatically fixed, but I'm just pointing it out. And Joe, identify the first argument autocomplete isn't there. Do you understand? Can somebody respond to me, please?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. That's cute. That's really quite cute. So, and if I were to say something like this, I mean, I actually don't know in the US whether there's any, whether one should have, well, okay.
Yeah, we
I
don't
see.
have
No
dates
historical
for-
country is known for that time.
No.
We don't have indigenous, you know, I mean, I don't know whether that's properly mapped, but the,
Yeah, we don't have that data.
we might take a look and see if there is any of that data available. Be interesting. This is really nice. It's really nice. So now I'm about to learn some history here. So that's going to be anything that intersected Peru at any time in history.
Yes.
Cool.
And if you use the dated wrapper around the historical country, it will give you the years in which the
Now, can I just use dated like that, or do I have to say all?
all.
This is really nice. It's really nice. It's very, I mean, I wish it wasn't so slow. Lovely. Why is this font all messed up? Does it look messed up on your version here? I'm doing Command 7. What the heck is happening to that?
Yes. It
What
might
happened
be because some of these examples are actually from the documentation we've been working for mathematics.
Okay.
So
So I don't understand this. Why doesn't it just work for Confucius on his own? I mean, in other words, I don't see why. I mean, there's one thing. Okay, let's look at this.
So the problem is that this is not a geo entity. So we don't have any, let's say, what do you want? The
These error
born
messages
place?
are terrible.
Okay.
Right? These error messages are absolutely terrible. So why don't you, in this case, well, I mean, hold on. Let me just try something else. Okay.
this is something interesting because as of now, the only two historical domains are military conflict and historical country. So every other entity is taken as an only geographic.
Right. But
object.
that's not right, because we do have information, for example, for buildings and so on. We do have information. I mean, if I said here, you know, something like lake. Is that a lake? I can't remember. Yes. Right. That obviously, a lake is a lake. First approximation, it's been there forever.
Yes. Our
Right,
next
but
steps
what's that?
we're going to try to expand the domains, the historical domains, to other geographical domains that we have, like building, historical site, city.
This is disappointing. Again, more caching probably is needed or something. Do you see what I'm saying? Why did that time out? That just seems wrong to me. Right, but okay. But so we should have a list of that's lovely. We should have a list of, we discussed this in one of our previous meetings, a list of entity types that support creation dates and so on. Now, a person, for example, that's a tricky issue because the person, you know, Hannibal wandered around all over the place, right?
Right. For persons, usually we have the place where they were born and also death place, right? And also the dates for both events. So the problem is that there are entities that might have many events associated with them, right? So
I think what we should do for a person that's mobile, okay, a building is not mobile, right? So I think for a person, we should just generate a more sensible error message. It just says specify, you know, birth or death or something. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see. Yeah, in general,
Now,
it should
I
be
also
only
make
one
another
message.
comment. I make another comment here. It's possible that we should add a property for a person that just says birth, for example, and that returns the pair of place and date. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is Alan here by any chance? Probably not.
No, he's off today.
Okay. All right. So I mean, that would be something for him. I would recommend that. I think given that we've got all this nice functionality here, this would be useful. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I think the opposition accepts a date as an
Yes.
element.
But that's an absolute time date, so it's not the same as the date object we need for this
Well, we
case.
probably need to do that. We probably need to say geoposition. Well, I don't know. Does geoposition work with dated?
In which sense? Dated inside? No, but we can have a list let alone hide date, and we can have a
No, I
date in
know
the
that.
fourth
I know
argument.
that. I know that. But I'm saying if I want to know the geoposition, I mean, if I say geoposition of Paris here, for example, actually, if I say geoposition of France, okay, it's going to give me a geoposition. If I say geoposition of dated, Roman Republic minus 100. What is that?
I think it's the center coordinates for that date.
Okay, great. Then this just worked. Check
So
that
this is
it is that. It's not something crazy.
internally. This is a call to your entity. Sorry, to entity value. So
Okay,
whatever
just
entity value
check
said.
that works correctly, and then I'm happy.
Yep.
Okay, geo entities.
It has more or less the same characteristics as GeoIdentify, only that it identifies entities within a given entity. Like, for instance, military conflicts in the Roman Republic, stuff like that.
It's very few. I'm surprised there's so few. Why are there so few? Is that because we don't have enough data?
These are not conflicts that had the Roman Republic as an actor, but that happened in the territories of the Roman Republic.
Oh, I see. I see.
They fight more outside than inside. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Fine. That makes sense. Those are people attacking the. So if I do a timeline plot, let's see if we can see the Roman Republic fall apart. Why is this so slow? Again, could you please look into the possibility of generating? Okay, so that's that. Makes sense. Now, boy, that's interesting. I mean, those were times when they were, you know, under attack, so to speak. How cool. So if I say date histogram, why didn't that work? Okay, something to debug. Okay, date histogram, I think, is not accepting historical entities. Makes sense? Can you please respond? Is somebody going to get this, or do I have to worry about whether this is being tracked properly?
No, we'll communicate this to Brett. I think it's just that there is not a connection between the entities and their dates yet.
Right.
We had to do that for something like duration, for example. We had to add it manually.
Yes.
Military conflicts also work with date intervals in order to support conflicts that might last a bit longer. I don't know if that works with date histogram.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something to discuss later. Yeah. To improve.
Okay, what does it mean by nearest in both space and time?
It intersects in time, but searches nearness by spatially only. So
I see.
In that case,
selecting in time and then doing the geo nearest, not space-time nearest.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't have the arrows in.
We don't have date nearest, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems sensible. Okay, so geo within Q is the same intersection of time and space in that case.
Yes.
So in a sense, it's date within Q, geo nearest and date within Q, in a sense, up here, right?
Yes.
Oh boy, geo distance. So wait a minute, we've got these space-time regions, and this is asking, as we scan through time, what was the closest they ever got at any time? Is that correct?
Exactly.
Which is you get by having union area of the two things. But that doesn't work because union area might give you the things at two different times. In other words,
yeah.
the proboscis going into, you know, where the Roman Republic took over the Azores or something might have happened at a different time from the time when the Han Dynasty took over, I don't know what, Japan or something. Am I making sense?
Yes. That's why when there are two historical entities, it will calculate the distance within their polygons or shapes at the same time.
Yeah, that's great.
And check the minimum. If you want the other stuff, you can use the geovariance union area.
Right. What's this? Historical.
When there is a non-historical entity, it only calculates it as a geographic position.
All right. Listen, it's taken a long time to get here, but this functionality is lovely. great. Let's just make it faster and make sure if we can at least get a progress dialog up, that will be really good. And there are a few rough edges to be smoothed, but in general, I just think this is spectacular. I mean, the kind of computational history that you can do is really, really, really nice. And it's kind of honestly, it's a reason for us to try and get more historical information, because I mean, well, Alan isn't here, so we can't really talk about that. But I mean, this is really nice. Okay, any further comments from Johan, Jose, anybody?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we're just going to mention the idea that I think we have discussed in the past. In the same way that entities in geoposition arguments immediately call geopositions, I think we should find the collection of entities and a single property, such that when we have date arguments, we can extract that property immediately from these historical entities. And this would apply to visualization functions and other.
Yes. So wait a minute, that's one way around. But I mean, there are things like the discovery of a chemical element in a particular place and time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit funky to put. I mean, I don't know if geolist plot of tungsten and molybdenum or something, molybdenum and gadolinium. Do we want to show? If you say geolist plot of those two things, it's a little bit funky to show their discovery places.
We have a position of, say, a continent, which is a bit strange too, but this works because the position property works systematically, and that's why it's so easy to propagate it. So it requires a bit of thinking and curation to assign a let's call it date property to everything, but otherwise, how can we make visualization functions work with?
Sorry. I spaced out. I got distracted by something else. Could you repeat that, please?
I was thinking about your idea just a few minutes ago of making visualization functions work with entities by extracting a property, a date.
Yes.
And
yes.
I was thinking that this can be done if we agree on a common name for a property that means a date.
I agree.
We have the position property for all the geo entities.
Yeah, right. Right. So let's do it.
Right. So it might be difficult to decide what's the date of one of the things you were mentioning before.
Well, then in that case, the quotes date property just should be omitted. But if there is a date, I mean, for example, if you say Eiffel Tower date, arguably that should be a date interval from when it was built to now.
I see.
I think that's a good way to do it. I mean, to have a date property, and then for each thing, it can decide, right? If it was a date of construction, a date of destruction, etc. It can pick that up. I think it's a good way to do it. Just like we have a position argument, we could have a date argument, a date property.
Position is guaranteed to be a geoposition, not a polygon, for example.
Right.
That's why it's so easy to manipulate it everywhere, because it's homogeneous.
Okay, but so then we might want we might need a name for that could allow intervalless. I mean, most of the things, I mean, I don't know, nuclear explosion, for example, that, that has a place and time, a very definite microsecond. An earthquake has an epicenter and a particular time.
Yep.
Even a volcanic eruption might have an interval. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If we say a date property, should we allow date intervals or should we nail it down more? I have to go. But this is really lovely, guys. I mean, it's taken us a very, very long time to get here. How long has it been? It's been like 5 years or something? I don't know.
Yeah, but we've been releasing different things in the meantime.
I know. But this is really nice. It's really, really nice. And there's just so many interesting things that can be done with it.
Mhm.
Anyway, cool. All right. We should run along here. Thank you all very much. See you all soon.